Hey people. So there's no Laura, but there is. Just wait. But we had an issue with the video and the audio. Bunch of technical jargon that nobody cares about except me. But anyway, it puts Laura's volume lower than mine this week. So I know you don't have to tell me. I'm aware. I'm working on trying to fix it. But until then, I wanted to go ahead and at least get an episode out. So if you're listening with earbuds, just beware that our volumes are a little different. So just be aware of that so one of us doesn't blast you out. It will probably be me this episode because I'm a little bit louder. And we'll continue to try to make it work so that it stops being uneven. So we appreciate you sticking with us. And in the blink of an eye, we'll both be there for you. So hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 195, version 2. I'm Leslie, also known as You Won't Call Me Les.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And it is the 25th of February, 2014.
Yep.
We did record this episode once already, but, you know, technology likes to remind you every now and then that you are not the smart person that you thought you were, so it's okay. We needed to spend more time together this week anyway.
We did.
So, Laura, what are you working on?
I am working on a sock. I am working on my second of my Vesper gemstones. These are going to be an afterthought heel sock. The first one is done, well, besides the heel. And you can see the blue line where the heel is going to go, right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the first one. And then this is the start of the second one. I'm knitting these on carbon size 1 2.25 needles, 16 inch, because that's how I roll. And that's about it for that. I have another stripy sock on the needles too. I have Continuum, so String Theory Yarns Continuum. I cannot remember the colorway, but I got it from the Loopy U when they started selling it. It's a cashmere nylon superwash merino blend. It's also being knit on size 1 2.25 needles. And these are Haya sharps.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Uh-huh.
What bag are you using for that?
My fat squirrel bag.
Oh, okay. It looked like
What did
something
you think
else.
it was?
It looked like my Bling Your String bag that I was using. I just wondered if we were bag twins, but we're not.
Well, we have purple bags. So
Yeah,
kind of.
that's not the same.
This is the one that she sent me for my birthday when she first started doing bags. Was that last year? That can't be last year.
It must have been, because
Wow.
I like how you just put in that little subtle I knew her before she was big thing right there. No, I love it.
Ew. That's not what I was trying to do.
No, I love it.
Like, she's been doing them a lot longer than a year.
It's because she's very good at it.
See if Tangerine Designs just hit like
5,000 sales.
5,000 sales, and I feel like she's been doing it like
She's only been doing it a couple years at most.
maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Not that long. I like people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sorry to get you off topic. You were talking about your Continuum socks?
So, I have some Continuum socks here. And, so I was going to share the difference between the Vesper and the,
Yes.
String Theory. So, and this bag is zigzag stitches. Isn't it cute?
I like the bicycle bag.
I like the bicycle bag as well. So this is the Vesper yarn, and it's got a nice tight twist. It's probably a 2-ply. Let's see if I can take it apart.
I think it is a 2-ply.
It's got that nice tight twist though. And the String Theory yarns has a less tight twist, but it's much plumper. So when I hold the two socks up in front of each other, even though they're probably the same stitch count, yep, they are. Get that down where it goes. You can see the Continuum's a little bit wider. A wee bit wider. Not a whole lot, actually, than the Vesper. It also helps if people hold things correctly. But anyway, so it's a little bit plumper. It's a nice plump yarn. And that might be in part to some of the cashmere content in there, just plumping it up. But it might be more plies as well. I think it is. Nothing's coming apart for me today. All my yarn wants to stay together until I knit it. Yeah, this looks like it's a 3 or a 4-ply. Let's see. No, it's a 4-ply.
And so for anybody that may not know how to tell how many plies their yarn is, why don't you just explain?
I undid it.
You twisted it in the opposite direction of the way it's twisted.
And I kind of peeled them apart. And you can see that there's, I don't know if you all can see, but I can see that there's 4 separate little strands there. So that's the difference between a 2-ply and a 4-ply. You can get the same weight yarn with a 2-ply and a 4-ply.
Mm-hmm.
The 4-plies can be a little bit more round, but if your singles for your 2-ply are thicker than your singles for your 4-ply, then you can get the same exact weight. And it has to do with twist angle too, but I'm not that technical when it comes to my yarn and spinning and such. But anyway, that's just the difference between the 2 yarns. And of course the cashmere is softer than just the superwash merino nylon blend, but it's also going to pill.
Yeah, that was something I was going to say. It is. I have a couple of pairs of socks, and this may not be true of every single base with cashmere in it. It probably depends on how it was milled and where it is in the...
Kind of the twist you're adding, because it is a short staple fiber, so...
But it is... So merino is typically 3 to 5 inches in staple length, whereas cashmere is much shorter. So it's going to work itself out, and that's what those little pills are. I'm not explaining it to you. I know you know. I'm explaining it to anybody that may not know.
I could not know. I could be ignorant.
You know. Most of the stuff I know I learned from you, so...
It's not true. Anyway, I have one more on the needle thing, because it refuses to get off the needles.
Aww.
It's so sad. I have my Ravelinix project, and it's totally after Ravelinix, but it's okay.
You got a lot done. I'm impressed, because beading takes time.
Well, it's not necessarily the beading taking time stuff, it's my refusal to read and then have to rip out 10 rows.
That does suck.
And then there's a big error on this. Is it this side, or there's one of the sides is off by a stitch, and I can tell it if I really look. Y'all probably can see if you really look, but it'll be okay. I actually really like this nutting part at the bottom. So there's 3 sections to this. The first is it's basically a 4-stitch repeat. I think it's 4 stitches with a bead. Yeah, it's 4 stitches with a bead, a yarn over, a knit 2 together or SSK, and a knit 1. And that varies depending on where the bead placement is and stuff like that on the side. And then there's a garter stitch section, which I had to redo because I thought, okay, so you do like 8 repeats of this section, and I did 6 and thought I was done. And then I got through the garter stitch section and I counted my stitches, because she does give you a great stitch count throughout, and I should actually say what this pattern is, for those of you who don't know. So let me back up a second. This is Glitz at the Ritz by Helen Stewart. It is a super intuitive, super awesome pattern. It's free on Knitty.com, and it's a really, really well written pattern. Like I said, extremely intuitive. And I'm using Made in American Yarns Wayfarer in the Cranberry Bog colorway. I think it's Cranberry Bog. Cranberry something.
Cranberry Bog.
It's 6 needles. They're signature needles. So there's 3 sections. So there's this upper beaded section where you're beading every 4th row. And then there's this garter stitch section where you should count your stitches and make sure you have the correct number, because she does give you stitch count. And then there's this more meshy section where it's a super intuitive, easy to remember repeat. It does change because you can see the beads are off.
Yeah, offset.
So they're offset on purpose. Actually, I would love to knit this twice and knit the same all the way to here and then pre-string beads and do them on the yarn over. So it would be a good sample to show what the difference between these are all placed with Dental floss or a crochet hook or like a Flegel beater type thing, or the difference between that and it being on a yarn over, which would make it more...
Well, only if it's in the round, really, because if it's not in the round, then you're going to have another row that comes with that yarn over and tightens it up, so...
Yeah. But it would add a little bit more movement.
Yeah, you could demonstrate. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think it'd be cool. But so I have like 9 more rows. I am about to do my purl back row. So this isn't true lace, it's every other row lace. So I'm about to do a purl back row, and then I'll have that same row that's up here with the bead placement to do. And then I have a little, like a 6-row edging, and then I have a picot beaded bind off to do. So I'm I keep thinking in my head, I have 3 more hours worth of work. And so,
I would wager that your bind off is going to take 3 hours at least.
I think it'll take a good 2. So I still have a good bit left to do. 9 rows maybe? Something like that.
You can totally whip that out.
Yeah, I was hoping it'd take me, it's so funny because I just finished a very large secret project. And at the end it was like over 600 stitch rows maybe. And it was taking me like 15 minutes to do a round because it was knit in the round.
Yeah.
Whereas like this, I was like, oh, I could totally bang out a row in like 10 minutes. No, I can't. I'm a much slower purler than I am a knitter. And I'm a much slower lace knitter. And the other item had lace too, but I'm a much slower lace knitter than I am a knitter. So it's just funny. Like, what I think in my brain I can do and what I actually can do are totally different things, especially when I'm on medication for beads. I'm actually surprised that this is not screwed up more. But, yeah, so it's almost done. And that's all I have. And that is in my Bling Your String bag, which looks like this. And it is really awesome, minus the yarn. It's really awesome, and I love it. Speaking of yarn, so the cool thing about Wayfair is, I have this much left out of the first ball, which I did not think, really I should be into the second ball, I would have thought by now. The pattern calls for like 450 yards, these are like 380 yard balls. The cool thing about Wayfair is it's got a nice tight twist. We've talked about twist, which sometimes can hurt you when it comes to lace, but I think in this case it's really making the beads pop. I think it's a 6-ply yarn, so there's lots of little tiny plies, as y'all can probably see, but it's not superwash. It's a fingering weight yarn that's not superwash, but it's soft. It's merino. So it's going to be awesome to do a Russian join with. Because those little scales on the fiber are going to want to grab each other. Yeah. And they're not going to. So if I was going to do like a cardigan that had to be steeked at a fingering weight, I might choose something like this versus a superwash yarn. Because those little scales are going to want to...
Yeah, it's also, I think it's a really good choice for the lace because being superwash is not going to hurt it. You're not going to put a beaded lace shawl in the dryer. It's not even. So, I think, and it might actually... I don't know if there's been any studies done as to whether superwash yarns retain their block shape better than non-superwash yarns, because you would think that the scales would help keep its shape, but superwash yarns tend to grow. So I don't know. That'd be an interesting kind of thing to think about. Maybe there's somebody in our viewer pool who may have some input on that.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thought in general.
Yeah.
So, it's got a nice tight twist, and you can see it kind of twists back up on itself a little bit every once in a while, but not so much that it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I tend to do that with any yarn that's more than 4-ply. As an example, the Woolmiza, whether it's the lace yarn or the sock weight, always ends up twisting. And that's because of the way I hold the yarn. I don't let the twist flow through the yarn. I hold it, so... Oh, Neelix is here.
You can't see me cutting all my yarn tonight to see how many flies are in things.
So before we go any further, Laura, I need you to make sure the thingy is recording on your side still.
Good. It is.
Okay, good. Laura and I battled the tech gods tonight, so we're just making sure. And now that Laura has talked for 15 minutes about her works in progress...
It's all about me. My birthday month is coming soon. I don't know if you...
Oh, we didn't cover that this time.
Guess what's falling on my birthday, guys?
Oh, yes. When we recorded this the first time on Sunday, we were talking about the episode number. And then we realized... Well, Laura realize that our 200th episode will occur on her birthday, where she will be 33.
I don't care at all.
The age thing doesn't bother me. At least it doesn't yet. But I was thinking after we recorded last time and we had all these tech problems, I was like, screw it. We'll just put off recording for a week. And then I was like, no, Laura's not going to let that happen. Because that'll mess up the 200th episode thing.
The 100th episode was on Kobe's birthday.
It was. He turned...
Which is coming up too.
Yep.
Very
He'll be 11 in a week.
Oh, I can't believe he's going to be 11.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to knitting, because this is a knitting show. I only have one active work in progress right now, and that is in one of my bags from Sharon, which I use this all the time because it's just like a bottomless pit, and I love that. I don't know what my dog's doing in my laundry room.
Doing something.
I'm knitting using a magic cake that Laura made for me. And
I have to find my magic cake.
a magic cake is basically just a cake. This is called a yarn cake when it's wound like this. A cake made up of odds and ends of fingering weight. And the pattern is the Magic Cake Ruffle Shawl by Paula Emmons Feasley.
And if you want to know how to do a cake, Paula goes into it in her pattern.
Yes, so
she's magical.
The pattern I think is $5, and it's very comprehensive. So she tells you how to lay out all your different little leftovers and sort of group it by weight and in order, and then how to do the magic knot to tie them together, and then how to sort of build a shawl that you love. So I love Paula's patterns are wonderful. She is Prairie Piper on Ravelry, and she hosts the Knitting Pipeline podcast.
Which is a very informative podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, I always learn something when I listen.
There's not a lot of fluff in Paula's podcast. Like, it's information, but you don't feel like you're being talked at. Do what?
Super smart.
She is. Like, she makes it so you don't feel like you're being talked at. You feel like you're being talked to.
Yeah.
And she's...
like sitting on her back porch, watching the birds with her.
Yeah, she does a little nature segment, too, if you like that. So, anyway, this is my... I almost called it the Prairie Ridge, which is the Susan B. Anderson pattern. This is my Magic Cake Ruffle Shawl, and this is by Paula Emmons Feasley. And I think the last time that we recorded, I had just started this blue.
I think you're in black and white, actually.
And so I haven't knit on this a ton since this weekend. I hung out with my friend Sharon and Dorian and Amy and her wife Anna, and I was working on this sort of turquoisey section. So I will forever think of this as my Amy, Anna, Dorian, Sharon section, which makes me happy because it reminds me of being with friends. So the shawl is made by alternating garter, stitch, and stockinette sections, and you can do it in whichever way you like, whether you want to do all the solid colors in stockinette, all the garter sections, and variegated, whatever makes you happy. And it's very simple to remember once you get started, so I don't carry the pattern around with me. I don't need it anymore. And I'm using
alternating stockinette, garter.
Yes, so for me, they're not... The cake isn't wound in such a way that the solid and variegated alternate every time. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I'm just alternating my sections texture every time, regardless of the color. So I'm just doing stockinette, garter, stockinette, on and off.
There you go.
Because that's what makes me happy. Although, really, if it was just all garter, that would be fine with me. Because I'm not a fan of purling. It changes my gauge. But I'll just knit backwards, or purl backwards, I guess, really is what it is. But I'm using my US size 6 4.0 millimeter Addy clicks. I like these needles. They come apart, and the cable is, you don't need to tighten them or anything. They just sort of...
They click into place.
Yeah, you click and twist, and then they stay in place. It is a pricey set, but I do like them, and they go from like 3 or 4 all the way up to 11 or 15, something like that. It's a really wide range. I don't have the case down here, I would show you. Anyway, that's my only work in progress, is the, wow, Magic Cake Ruffle Shawl. Where did my brain go? Sorry. We're recording after work.
Tuesday night,
yeah, it's just, my brain isn't here. My brain is, I have to get up at 6 a.m. to do this testing thing, and I'll be on the phone with India and Las Vegas at the same time.
That's so early.
It is for me. But, hey, I'll be up before you technically will, because it'll only be 5.
Wake up at 5:40. Oh, yeah, you will be for once.
For once.
Unless I have insomnia.
Again.
Get up at 4 a.m. again.
So, when we recorded on Sunday, I did not have a finished object, but now I do, because it didn't take long. So, a friend of ours has a young niece who has been diagnosed with a type of cancer. And while that is not cheery news, it does give us a reason to knit something for someone else, which is not always a good reason to do that.
Yeah.
And she's going to have to go through chemo, so she's probably going to lose her hair. So we decided we would knit, without knowing her real well, we decided to knit something that would be pretty, like, easy and unisex.
She's a 12-year-old girly girl.
Yeah. So I'm using Fiberfile Super Squish Worsted in the Bluebird colorway. It's 100% superwash merino, and that's good for a teen girl because, you know, if she throws it in the dryer or whatever, then it won't hurt anything.
Like, a big deal.
So this is what's left. It's a little less than half.
And that way you can de-germify it really easily.
What is this?
This is what I do all the time at work. Like when the 6th graders are irritating me, I start pulling on my hair.
Am I irritating you? Is that the sign?
When I think too, I pull on my hair.
Anyway.
That's why I never have my hair down, because if I have my hair down, I'm like constantly...
It's okay, I realize that I irritate you now. It's cool.
Make me go Velociraptor, are you kidding?
Yeah, we had a whole bit of the T-Rex playing the piano earlier. And what songs would it play?
We decided the 80s pop culture song, Dinosaurs.
Yeah. And then All By Myself.
So,
So I knit a Hermione's cable and eyelet hat.
that's so pretty.
And I think it's a little, like, the one in the picture on the pattern is kind of a lighter, more natural, non-superwash. It's more of a Shetlandy type look. And this one is more, the yarn is more rounded and it's more squishy. But I like it still. I think it's nice.
Super cute.
I changed the way the increases are done, but I still think it's really cute. I did a tubular cast on. So,
We're done a tubular. No, that's a lie. I did it when we talked to that class with Lucy.
yeah, Isolde actually has a really good tutorial on it out there on YouTube.
Oh.
So, I've woven in the ends. I just haven't clipped them because I'm going to soak it first and then clip them. It's going to get stuck on my bobby pins. So, this is what it looks like on. This is a free pattern on Ravelry for worsted weight yarn. And I like it. And so it's going to go to our friend's niece. I'm going to try to knit one more probably before I send it off to her. And maybe like a fun scarf accessory or something. I don't know. It's just what I'm in the mood for. You know, I was excited about knitting this and it took me like a day.
For cold, like
Do
in
I?
the waiting room and stuff, like when you get chemo a lot of times, so.
You know what? If anybody has a suggestion, if you've had a family member or a friend, you know, child or whatever, who's gone through chemo, who, you know, maybe you know something we wouldn't have thought of, leave it in the comments of the thread. I'd appreciate that, because I don't want her to just feel like, oh, God, my aunt's friend sent me some weird stuff. Like, you know, I want it to be something she can use. I don't expect anything in return. I just want it to be something that she'll be happy to get.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my FO for the week. I have no spinning at all.
That's spinning.
But you do. So why don't you go ahead?
I have processing. So back in October, I bought a CVM fleece from a farm. So I have been slowly processing it.
So pause. What's CVM?
A breed of sheep.
Something variegated mutant.
California variegated mutant. Mm-hmm. It is a mutation of the Romneydale?
An intentional mutation.
Yes.
It's not like X-Men sheep.
How about we're gonna do one of the Expand Your Horizons the shears on that. Do you see how I did that? So that I
Nice.
could use the fleece that I'm processing for that. So, we'll talk more about the breed. How about that?
Okay.
And then the other night, she only puts out fleeces, the farmer who owns this farm, twice a year. And the October fleeces are actually like, this is part of being a farm. Sometimes you sell off some of your herd or group, and they go to the meat market. So the October fleeces are pre-meat market shearings. So they're not the quality that the spring ones are. But because this was going to be my first fleece ever, I was okay with it being like more of a, so for example, the one that I have that I'm processing now has like a 2-inch staple length. The one that I just bought has like a 4-inch staple length. So there's a lot more growth on it. Because staple length is the length of the actual fiber.
Yep.
So what I've been doing is I'm processing it myself, and I've been washing. So this is all washed clean fleece in there. I'll take some out. So I've been opening the fleece, and it looks like a sheep is laying on my floor on a drop cloth.
It's like a sheep-shaped rug.
Yes. And so I've been picking off some locks, and you can see how short some of these locks are, and some of this, like, little bits I'll pick out again. But, so I've been picking out a bunch and sticking them in one of those mesh laundry bags. I could hold this up to the camera so you can see. And, this isn't felted or anything, it just pulls right apart. And you can see the individual little lock structures, kind of when I do that. So I've been laying it down in a mesh like laundry bag, and I fill a sink full of like super hot water, and then I squirt some Dawn dish detergent on the top, and I don't really agitate it because I don't really want the bubbles. And then I sink the bag down wearing rubber gloves so I don't burn my hands, and swish it around a little bit because I don't want to agitate it too much because I don't want it to felt. And CVM fleeces do felt pretty easily, so we're trying to avoid that. So I swish it down and the water turns gross brown, and then I let it sit for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then I just yank out the bag, hold it, get rid of the dirty water, put it in fresh hot water. This is where having a double sink comes in handy because you can actually set it in the other sink. That way it's not being agitated. Refill that sink with hot water, add the Dawn. Do that like 3 times until the water is like super clean and the fleece doesn't really smell like poo anymore. I should say dirt. This was actually a really clean fleece because it was both coated, which means that the sheep wore little coats.
Yep.
It'd be awesome if they wore little rain boots too, but they just wear little coats. And like Paddington Bear. Sheep dress like Paddington Bear.
But would they need 4 rain boots or just 2 rain boots?
No, they need 4. They have 4 feet. They need to have like flowers, like daisies on their rain boots.
I was thinking like yellow polka dotted rain boots.
No, that'd be cute. Anyway, and then you rinse like 2 cycles of the rinse water, and then I've been laying it out to dry. And then once it's dry, this is my insanity. I'm taking some hand cards because I do not have a drum carder, and I don't have full cards. I have mini cards. So I have shocked curved mini cards, which actually are really, really, I love them to death. They're really super awesome, and I wish I was a better carder, but I think that's going to come with time.
Yeah, I think so.
Watch the interweave video. So I've been carding on these, and I can put enough fiber on here to get around a 1 gram roll log when I take it off. So, in that bin, I would say there's probably 3 to 4 ounces of fiber ready to be carded. In this bin, you can see how it's all fluffy. There's around maybe 1 ounce of fiber, maybe 2 ounces to be spun. So 27 of, it smells so good. 27 of these, I'm like huffing the wool fumes, equals 1 ounce. So I've probably carded And there's some on my wheel too, because I've been spinning them up on the ladybug wheel. Just a little bit, like not even enough to show. Like 10 of them are spun, so like a quarter of an ounce. Otherwise, I'd show y'all. I've been spinning those up, and maybe someday I'll have a whole 2 pounds. The fleece is actually 2 pounds. That's what I bought. I spent like $35 on a 2-pound fleece.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. It's a great deal. It was like $10 for shipping. And so that is enough. I'm going to lose probably, it was really clean and it was skirted. So that means that she went through and pulled out all
any
the
really gross
that were down like near the rear end and the back area. The really like dirty bits have already been skirted. So that was 2 pounds with it skirted and coated. So I think I'll probably end up with like 1.5 pounds maybe.
I'm writing down the phrase dirty bits. That's now our episode title.
So I'm hoping to end up with 1.5 pounds of spun yarn at the end, and that should be enough. And I'm just spinning it pretty much a sport weight. It's going to be a 2-ply unless I decide it should be a 3-ply. So that's how I roll. Like, this is just me playing type fleece. And then the other one, which is 5 pounds, which was around $100, will be more serious.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to get a lesser quality fleece to learn on.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, you know, you hear people say, well, you should always buy the best yarn that you can buy to start knitting. So it's a good quality fleece, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I'd rather, in case I do felt, like, my big fear was I was going to felt 2 pounds of fleece.
Yeah.
Which would be an awesome thing for Humberto to lie on, but not so awesome for me.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of the reason why I'm not doing, like, there's so many different methods for processing fleece, and kind of the method I'm using, I've read a lot online, but Sadie of the Yarnivore podcast did a breakout session last year, which I could not get to at SSK, but Jessica emailed me her notes. So, credit, like they're totally, it's Sadie's ideas.
Well, I'm sure that Sadie would have sent them to you if you'd asked.
And and Sadie's actually teaching a fleece processing class for us at SSK this year, and we're going to get into all the SSK classes
at the end of the show. Yeah.
So that's the majority of my spinning. I've also been spinning a bit on what I showed y'all last week, which is for my Less is More cardigan. I am on my 3rd bobbin of superwash merino for that. It's not very exciting. It's just basically what y'all saw last week. And then I just moved a desk in here. There's a surface over here too, in addition to the surface that was over here on Sunday. So I stuck my MacBook, because obviously my MacBook has to be here. The PC has to be here.
The MacBook and the PC cannot share space.
Yeah. There'd be like a... I pulled out the mini spinner, and I had started spinning this back in December when I was at my brother and sister-in-law's house in Leslie's. It is Huckleberry Knits. It is shipment number 2 of her club that I was in. I cannot remember what it was. I know she emailed it to us, but I can't remember. And I'm too lazy to go back and check my email.
It's okay.
So, it's the stuff. I'm thinking it's Polworth.
You'll check it when you're done.
It might be a Falkland. No, I don't know. Maybe. So, the first bobbin is done. I love a mini spinner. And I've started the second. This is actually how much I have left.
Cool.
So, maybe I'll have some finished yarn for y'all next week. And I need to get that done because I owe Lynn some of this. So, Lynn, Jess, and I were in a yarn swap.
You still haven't spun for Lynn?
No.
Lynn, I'm so sorry. That is...
It's like I had a car destroyed.
Oh, okay. This was before that.
This is the one time I'm playing that card. I didn't use it for my Ravel Linux thing. I'm using it now.
Oh.
Why my thank you notes are so late. Sorry, I owe thank you notes too. I love you.
I was chastising her about her thank you notes earlier.
They're getting out this week, I promise.
Okay, so we are not doing a book review because we're already at like 35 minutes. And,
super talky.
Yeah, and we've still got a bunch of stuff to talk about in favorite things. So we had a question from Lanois, Lanois. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And the question is, where's the strangest place you've ever knit? Why don't you go?
Where would I go? I knit everywhere. I knit leading up to my brother's wedding. I knit in the test run for my brother's wedding.
Did you knit walking down the aisle? That'd be awesome.
I did readings.
Okay.
So, I knit at the dentist. I knit pretty much everywhere. The guys who do my tires know me as that crazy knitter lady. I spin everywhere too, for the most part. Like, I've taken a spindle on a train and spun on a train.
Mm-hmm. I have a picture of that.
Yeah, somewhere. I've spun at school before. It's just, I knit everywhere. And I've gotten to the point with my 6th graders, they keep asking me to knit stuff for them, which is really, like, sweet if there weren't 500 of them.
Yeah.
It would be a doable, and they always want Nike socks with the swoosh.
Oh, God.
I was like, you can buy those! Go buy them! The boys always want. But, I knit pretty much everywhere. No place super strange, I don't feel like. It's strange to the muggles, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's just everywhere. I knit in the line at Starbucks all the time, in the drive-thru line.
While you're waiting, not while you're driving.
No, my car's in park. Kind of.
Your foot's on the brake.
It's on the brake.
The strangest place for me was my fiance Michael has friends in Mississippi, where we were before I moved here to New Jersey, and he made these friends in like 4th grade. And with boys, it's so funny, I read this somewhere, but with guys, it's like you meet guys and they're your friends, and they're your friends forever, no matter if they're complete jerks or what. Like, guys don't like need more friends, I guess, maybe, whereas girls, you know, and that's a gross overgeneralization, and I completely own up to that, but I would say as a rule, you know, if we evolve into like a different kind of person, then we're going to end up gravitating towards those kinds of people, even if they're not necessarily the people we grew up with. Anyway, totally not the point. He grew up with a friend who is now, I don't know, 30, 32, something like that, and he is married with 4 kids, has a taekwondo school. Actually, he opened a 2nd taekwondo school last year, I think.
One of my coworkers goes to his school.
Yeah. And he is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and he teaches jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu takes a lot longer to like get to that black belt, and that's jiu-jitsu is all ground fighting, and he wanted to participate in MMA, which is mixed martial arts, which is basically like street fighting in a cage, where there really aren't any rules aside from you can't like bite, you can't kick in the groin, and you can't gouge out eyes, and like those are the rules. And he would love to do that, but he has he had cancer when he was younger, and so his jaw doesn't have a lot of bone. Anyway, he can't do it. But we used to go to MMA matches with him all the time, and I would knit.
I used to fall asleep as they watched MMA matches.
Yeah, at their house. But
like 1 o'clock in the freaking morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Laura was subject to these as well. But I went to one live in the city that we used to live in. It was a small event, but and I brought knitting there, and I got a lot of crazy looks there. But overall, like Laura said, I knit pretty much everywhere. I even got clearance from my boss to knit at work if I'm on like a a teleconference where I have to watch the screen or whatever, because if I'm knitting, then I'm not playing on the internet. So it actually forces me to pay closer attention. So I knit pretty much everywhere. None of my family members or friends really give me an eye for it or anything like that. So I knit a lot of places. Favorite things.
Favorite things.
Yes.
It was Jessica's birthday.
It was. Jessica is one of the mods on our group, the Knit Girls group on Ravelry. Her Rav name.
I'm not going to tell you how old she is, because she doesn't act her age.
She
would be rude.
Kick your ass.
Plus, Leslie is in my age, but I'm not rude like Leslie is.
You're not like
the sanctity of Jessica's
whatever.
age.
Jessica would kick my butt if
she'd fly to your house.
Regardless of whether she was 25 or, 105. Jessica's just a different personality, right? Like, and I don't mean that negatively. I mean, we love Jess, and we want to say happy birthday. Shut up. Anyway, this is like the angry episode. I'm sorry. Anyway, we did say happy birthday on her birthday, but then it didn't work, so sorry.
Fate conspired against her.
Yes.
Jessica's fault the episode didn't record.
It totally is. I'll blame her.
I'm yelling at the TV. No, it's not! That is not your T-Cat.
So,
no.
We had a giveaway as well. And I do not have my tablet down here that we used for the drawing, but I do remember the number. But first I want to show you. The giveaway is for Ellys Knits and Sanity. And I just lost the little card. Where did it go? Okay, well, let's go. Anyway, it is Ellys Knit and Sanity.
In the She-Ra colorway.
It is the She-Ra colorway, you're right. It is a superwash.
Her significant other, and I'm sorry that my cat is rubbing his face on my laptop.
It is a 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, and these crazy happy rainbow colors that make me think of Fru.
It's like fruit strip gum.
And she includes this cute little shrinky dink stitch marker too.
So cute.
And if she does have a coupon code, which is TheKnitGirlls10, and it's in our episode thread, and you get 10% off for the rest of February if you're interested. I know she does special orders as well. And the winner was number 130.
Which was Lady Dis DN. So LADYDISDN.
Okay.
Who said Frozen Goth Heart is my favorite. I remember because it's Michelle from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I remember the Nevada part, but also she's got like the cutest picture of 2 kids in her profile.
Oh, well, cool.
It's like an older boy holding a baby, and there's 2 sons. It's actually one is 5 and the other was just born in November. Aww.
It's creepy that you know this much about strangers.
People should put stuff on their profiles that they want me to read online, apparently.
So congratulations, Lady DisDN. Send me, you can call me Les. Hold on! A PM on Ravelry, and I'll get this sent out to you.
It's from the Shakespeare, where it's Benedict and Beatrice, Much Ado About Nothing, and he calls her Lady Disdain.
That's yeah, I never read that, but okay.
There's a horrible movie, whatever, I didn't care for it, with Captain Mail. What is his name? Castle.
Oh, Nathan Fillion?
Yes. It's the guy who does the Avengers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Joss Whedon?
Yes, did adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing, and it's like in black and white.
Oh.
And it's got some of the usual people he uses.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get into it. And the funny thing is, that's the one where I was reading the reviews on Redbox before I rented it, and people were like, "Why is this not in English?" It's Shakespeare.
Oh.
Which is now its own language. I just deemed it its own language.
It can be a little slow, but it's just a different dialect,
Yeah. I love Shakespeare. I took way too many Shakespeare classes in college, which, you know, if I couldn't get into it, and I love Shakespeare, I could see other people not getting into it. I also was trying to watch it on a time crunch because I'd rented the Red Box and forgotten about it. So, anyway.
I do have something else I've been working on, which is actually why I don't have a ton of knitting this week. And
oh, this is so pretty.
This is the Once Upon a Time sampler. It is.
They don't have eyes.
They are.
Favorite part.
I may not finish the eyes. I may just leave them eyeless for you. So this is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it's a sampler. So she puts out one a month. So I haven't done January. You have to start from the middle and count outwards. So I just did the closest one. I'm almost done with February. I've got to do a couple more little things, little hearts, and then I have to fill in the eyes and do the borders. There's borders here, and there's like a little castle and words up here. I wanted to try to finish February before February was over. I just started this about a week ago. Why do you look so concerned?
No, I'm watching my cat try to eat stuff.
Oh. He's kind of a jerk.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We get goodie bags from other people, and we try to eat them, apparently.
So the fabric is, Sue's, my friend Sue's got this for me, and it is the Crystal Doubloon, it's what's recommended. It's the Crystal Doubloon 28 count linen, which I have perfect vision. There are a lot of things about me that are so far from perfect, it's hilarious. But I do have perfect vision. So I have 20/15, and I had to get reading glasses to do this because the holes are so tiny. I cannot, even with reading glasses, I'm like, oh god. And I'm using a Q-snap frame, which is, I like this, the square, much better than the round thing. Like, my hand can get a good grip on it, and it doesn't hurt. I'll show you the back too, because I don't care. And
I love cross-stitch backs.
People are gonna wince. If you're type A, look away for a minute, okay? Whoa, look at that.
That doesn't bother me at all.
There are a lot of the ones that are just hanging. I have to go back and weave in, but there's a bunch of sections where I just crossed over. I don't care. Nobody's gonna see the back. I don't care.
Framed.
So, yeah. So I've just got a couple little things left to do on February, and then I'll work on the frame and try to do January and March at the same time, because March will come out this weekend. And I like it. It's just,
I love it.
it's not for me, so obviously. I'll say obviously. Laura's complimenting it because it's going to her.
I'm complimenting it, because it's freaking awesome. Even Humberto thinks so.
Yeah, obviously. You need to make sure you can puke on it before you frame it.
No. He's playing with, so you know how I've got the tubes, the like candy tubes that I put my needles in? Well, one of the tops was sitting on there, and I flicked it off, now it's on the floor, and he's like going crazy.
It's a little piece of rubber to chase around.
Yeah. But he adores it, and I adore it too. I'm super excited.
It's gonna fit with Laura's, like, I don't know, I'm just not into fairy tales or anything, but Laura likes that stuff, so, and I just wanted the experience of doing it, so. There's that.
Junky is what you're trying to say, but nicely.
I like it. I actually think I'm going to do one of the subversive cross-stitch ones, and put it up at work. And it's going to say, I sublimate my rage through needlework. I'm going to hang it up at work.
That'll be good.
Yeah. Good, awkward, whatever. But you got a club shipment this week, right?
I did. I'm sad because one of my favorite clubs is over.
Maybe not forever, but for now.
Yeah, but I love the last shipment. So, I am in the Tempted Yarn Club, and this is the last shipment. It is Cozy Girl, and it's a gorgeous red. So this is like a DK weight yarn, a superwash merino, very tight twist, lots of plies, and it's called All My Love. And it came with a postcard, and Stacy and Bob are so sweet. Stacy's the woman who dyes all the yarn for Tempted. She's Tempted, and that's her username on Ravelry. And she handwrites every single shipment card.
And that's 120 something, I think, every
And so
3
on the back
months.
of the postcard, she always sends you a note, a personalized note. It's just not like a standard note. She personalizes it for every single person.
Yeah.
And Bob, her husband, wrote on it too. So it is the first thing that I hung on my fridge, and it's over in my kitchen, so I can see it and smile. And I actually have it faced out, so I can see what they wrote, because they are the nicest people ever.
They are. We've stayed with them several times at their home in Oklahoma, and they're just salt of the earth kind of people, you know?
They're sweet people. And they've been through a lot this past year. And actually, the pattern that goes with this was a cowl designed by Amy Christophers. So I'm going to go ahead and download that.
Yep.
And this is going to be one of my upcoming projects for sure, because this just makes me happy. And it reminds me of both Stacy and Leslie, because they're both red girls.
Yep.
And it's just fun.
It is. I can't wait for mine. I live further from Stacy, so mine hasn't come yet, but it should be here soon. It may be here today. I haven't checked the mail.
So, speaking of upcoming projects, do you have any upcoming projects?
I do, and I do not have my tablet, so let me pull it up real quick and make sure my text messages are not set to pop up, because that would not be good. Okay.
I actually had to do that. One of my kids borrowed my iPad the other day, and I was like, hold on.
Be right back. So
and he was like, Miss Linneman, I don't want to see you and your friend's personal stuff anyway. So I was like, thank you.
Good.
I appreciate
because
that.
I want you to see it. So our friend Wendy Johnson, Wendy Knits, is really most known for like her sock patterns, which are myriad and beautiful. But she's been working on this pattern for 3 weeks or a month, something like that. And the whole way I've been like, I can't wait. It's almost time. And so she finally published it's called the Leftovers Cowl. And it looks like this. And it is made out of scraps of leftover fingering weight yarn from socks that she's knit, or any project that you've knit if you have fingering weight socks, sock weight yarns left over. And it's provisionally cast on, so when you are finished, you actually graft the ends together, so it's seamless. A bonus of it's knit in the round as a tube, so she says you should weave in ends as you go. I say tie them up and stick them on the inside, because nobody's ever going to see them.
Because it's knit in the round, and then it says a tube that becomes a bigger tube.
Yep. Yes, it's like think of one of those pool noodle things, and you join it at the middle, so it's empty in the center. You could weave in the ends, nobody's stopping you, but why bother? But anyway, I love it, and I cannot wait to get started. And it took Wendy around 3 weeks, I think, to knit it. I envision it taking me several months, and it's something I won't wear this winter, but maybe by next winter. So I definitely will be casting that on within the next couple of weeks, because it just seems like something you could do one little motif in an evening, and still feel like you got somewhere.
You've got like a lot of flexibility with it too. Like you don't have to do all different colors. You can use like a background color and then Noro.
Yeah.
And have it change as you go.
This is true. You could adjust for weight by just casting on fewer stitches and using a different needle size, and then it would go even faster. So I just feel like there's endless possibilities, and I think it's $5 now. It was originally on sale for $3, but now it's $5, and I just think it's brilliant. I can't wait to cast it on. So that's coming up for me. I'll cast that on sometime in the next couple weeks. I'm really excited about it. I'm ridiculously excited about it. So anyway, what else?
I have a hat that I'm going to cast on. So, for the young lady who's got leukemia, I'm going to cast on this awesome skein of yarn into, I think it's just going to be like a sock head hat, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's so much going on, or a worm hat, W-U-R-M. I think it's actually going to be a worm. There's so much going on in this colorway that I really want to show off how cool this colorway is.
I agree. I think that's a fantastic colorway.
So it's 213 yards of a DK, I just feel like if I did a pattern, like I was really thinking about doing one of the Megan Williams patterns.
Measure in Love?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is this part of Rent. I just feel like the details would get lost.
I agree, because it's got like this little motif here, which I think I agree for that particular scheme.
With stuff is the more highly variegated it is, the less of a busy pattern you need to really show it off well. Drizzle would be another option, but I'm worried about like the roll brim.
I would be more worried about the mesh with all that color. I feel like even the mesh breaking apart the color adds more busy to it.
It might pool too. So I think I'm going to do something super simple.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like the worm or the sock head would be good.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. So that's what I have up and coming. I have 2 skeins of sock yarn sitting on my desk too, both sparkly, that want to be used.
Okay, let me pull up. We have a new giveaway, and then I've got one more thing to talk about, and then we've got some SSK stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Alright, so let me pull this up. So our new giveaway for this week is from Kate Evans at Infinite Twist. And Infinite
We've talked about her stuff before.
Yes, so she's the one who teamed up with Susan B. Anderson to do the Prairie Ridge shawl, and it's out of handspun. So she works with fair trade women who spin fiber into yarn, and then she sells the kits. And she paired up with Lee Meredith, which is Lethal, Leethal, on Ravelry, and they did a kit for, it's called Robin, is the name of the pattern.
I think that shawl pattern's been out for a while.
And
it's gorgeous.
The kit is available in 3 colors, in the Larkspur, which is the blue at the top, and then the gray and the red. And the kit retails for, I want to say, 70 something. Let me pull it up. $80, and it comes with the needles, it comes with the yarn, it comes with the pattern, stitch markers, everything. So, and $80 for how many yards of handspun? 475 yards of handspun is really a fair price.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
And her kits are really beautifully packaged, and I have nothing but good things to say about this lady. So if you want to win a kit, you can enter to win by, on our Ravelry board, we'll open a thread, and you must be a member of the group to win. 1 entry per person. No chatter in the thread, please. And what we want to know is Kate is going to introduce a new mill spun DK weight yarn, and she wants to know, what types of projects do you most enjoy using DK weight yarn for? So do you really love a DK weight sweater? Do you really love a DK weight shawl or socks or a hat? What types of projects do you tend to use DK weight yarn for?
And I think we should leave this open until the 9th of March.
Yeah, we'll leave it open because it's not going to be a full week,
like a week
otherwise. So we'll leave this open for 2 weeks, and you can enter until the 9th, when we'll close the thread when we start recording.
Yep.
And we want to thank Kate, because she's always super nice and kind about giving us things to give away, because it still does cost money to send stuff. So
with indie dyers, it's...
Yeah, any indie. Same thing goes for Ellie. It still is a cost to them, so we appreciate the opportunity to share the good stuff with you guys. So, alright, we have SSK classes, but I have one more thing to talk about real quick. I feel like I've been talking for an hour, I'm sorry. So I'm a totally awkward, weird person, right? This is how I see myself, and this is not something I say for sympathy or anything. This is just a statement of honesty. And I came across this this lady who is a researcher storyteller, and her name is Brene Brown. And some of you may already know her, and I may be totally late to the party. I usually am. So her name is Brene Brown, and I first sort of heard of her and looked for her and found some TED Talks where she talked about vulnerability and shame. And it sounds like a really weird thing to like voluntarily go listen to, but it really is interesting and eye-opening, and I think it helps you sort of re-examine things, which is great. And I'm listening to an audiobook of hers that's called The Power of Vulnerability. And feel free to mock me. It will not hurt my feelings. But this is, I guess it's considered self-help, but it is a fantastic book. And I love it. I love it. I think it's really interesting and without being preachy. And she finds a way to sort of communicate things without it being overly complex. But you can tell she's really put a lot of time and thought into it. So if you're interested, I recommend, I've got it linked to her TED Talks in the show notes, and I'm listening to her Power of Vulnerability book over on Audible. So, public service announcement over.
Yay, SSK
Yay,
classes!
SSK stuff, yeah.
So, SSK classes went up on the board. Well, they went up on the website, which is supersummerknittogether.com.
Yep.
And you can find them under the tab on the right-hand side that says Teachers and Classes. We are super proud to announce that we have the following teachers for SSK 14, and some of these we've already announced, and a few are new. So we have Laura Nelkin coming, Amy Herzog, Lori Roan, who's Deerfield Creations, Malia Jackson of the Yarn Raising Podcast, Sadie Anderson of Yarnivore Podcast, and myself.
Yep.
So your SSK fee, if you are attending SSK, includes one class at no additional cost from one of our featured teachers.
Yep.
And how this works is in April, Leslie will put out on the site that the class selection's up.
Yep.
It's not like a first come first serve thing. I wait till everyone fills out their surveys. You choose your top 3 classes. So you pick your top 3. And like last year, I would manage to get everyone but the latecomers, the people who
it ended up in the last few weeks who got a spot.
I managed to get everyone their first
choice.
Class.
Yeah,
their first choice class. That might not happen this year. I try really, really hard to do that, guys. Just a recap of the classes that will be taught. Laura Nelkin is teaching knitting with beads, and also advanced lace with beads. Amy Herzog is teaching her Knit to Flutter 3-hour workshop, and she's also teaching Mastering Mindful Modifications.
Yes.
Which is really cool. I really want to sit in on both the advanced lace and the mindful modifications, but I'm teaching, so I can't. Lori is teaching This Is Your Spindle, This Is Your Fluff, which is a beginning supported spindling class, which is very, very cool.
Yes, and Lori is very good at, if you've never touched a spindle before and you want to 3 hours later be able to do a little bit of spinning, she will get you there.
She's also doing supported spindling for the spinner, so if you already have like some knowledge, you have a wheel or a drop spindle that you've spun on, that's more of a comparison of all the different kinds of supported spindles from Russians to Tibetans to Navajos and things that fall in between. Malia, who knows everything, I feel like there is to know about spinning. She is extremely knowledgeable and extremely smart. She is teaching Learn How to Spin on a Drop Spindle, which is an absolute beginner. There's no experience required. Then she's also teaching to find the spindle that sings to you. So if you want to try to click with a bunch of different spindles, that would be the class for that. She's also in the SSK group on Ravelry, taking questions about her classes, so that's very cool. To
help you understand which maybe a better fit, or if what you want to know is going to be covered, or anything more technical. She's very good at giving you backstory on the why of things. So.
Yeah. And the third class she's teaching is Spin the Yarn That You Want, which is more for a confident spinner who knows how to spin a single already on a spindle.
Yes, and that's...
like we've talked about before, is teaching a fleece processing class, Fleece Processing 101, so that's super cool.
Yeah, so it's the very basic intro to fleece processing. If you haven't decided if you want to buy a fleece, or if you just want to kind of understand the process of how it happens, she can walk you through it there.
And then drum/hand carding for beginners, another thing that I really need to take. And then I'm teaching Make the Best Yarn Choice, which is how fiber, content, and construction of yarn basically affects your knitting.
Yes.
And how to get the finished product that you want you have to think about the yarn choices that you're making on the front end to make sure that that's going to work for you, and also how to use technology and questions to ask yourself when you're choosing yarn for a project. So how to use the best technology, how to best use technology to your advantage, there we go, when you select yarn. There's so much information now on the internet.
You just have to know how to filter through it.
Yeah, definitely. So those are the classes that we are teaching. I'm super excited.
Me too. When Laura got that up and I went and looked at it, I was like, oh God, I forgot we had all these classes. Like,
It's going to be super
it's
fun.
a little deviation from how we've done it in the past, where we've had 4 really established, well-known people. And we're trying to we want to keep the established, well-known people, but we also want to give other people the opportunity to, if there's something they want to be able to travel and do, to, teach, at a smaller event and kind of get their feet wet. So, and they're all people that we know and we trust, and, we know you're going to get your money's worth. Except that Laura Linneman. I don't know about her.
She's awful. A lot of them have taught breakout sessions for us in the past. So we know, like Lori's taught supported spindling breakout at every single SSK.
She taught me to support spindle.
She's wonderful. And Malia did an awesome breakout last year on charco spinning. Yeah,
and Sadie's done lots of tutorials on processing and carding and all that. So
yeah,
we've already juried these people for you, so we know you're going to get your money's worth out of the classes.
Yep, for sure. We don't have people teach for us that we have not met.
Right.
That's pretty much how it goes. So whether it's at TNNA, like we've met Laura this year.
Yep.
Or Leslie took a class from Amy Herzog.
Yes. And I would sit and listen to her read me the phone book, because she just makes so much damn sense.
We try to get people that we know that y'all will love.
Right. Are you dying over there?
I'm slowly losing my voice. I totally lost it with the 6th graders today, and they were thinking that was the best thing ever. Like, Christmas had come early to the library. Miss Linneman can't do it. It's awesome. Yeah, they're super fun. So that is about it for this week, I feel like.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to add?
I don't think so, and even if there was, we're over an hour, so you can wait.
Good.
So the next time that we see you, it'll be March.
It will. It's the month of my birthday. I feel like I've got to throw
it
that
will.
up.
It will be the first Sunday of the month of Laura's birth.
Also known as Cadbury Egg Sunday.
I've seen those at Wawa already, so.
I've eaten them already.
Oh, okay.
Not since I've been sick, but before then.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.